Failure, that one thing that we always dread. What are people going to think about us? We don't want to ask for help. We want to figure things out on our own. We want to say that we were able to make it. And it doesn't help that when you turn on the news, you're always going to see somebody in the negative spotlight. Your favorite basketball player missed a critical shot. And yet, when it comes to failure, that fear of that negative spotlight keeps us safe. So with that being said, today let's talk about why you must fail if you want to get those things you've always wanted. Stick around. What's up, YouTube family? David Medawar here. Let's talk about why failure is necessary. It's very easy for us to stay in our comfort bubble and to not go for those things we've always wanted. That dream relationship, that job you've always wanted. A lot of times we actually hold ourselves back from making choices because we don't want to be wrong. And it sounds great until we mess up, until we make a bad choice, until we have to explain to others why we were wrong. And it's hard, right? I'm sure you can relate to the last time you felt embarrassed and what that felt like. But do you want to sit idle for the rest of your life feeling ultra safe because when you had that fear of not going for what you always wanted, at the end of your life, you're now regretting it? So what's really holding us back? We got to look at this at a deeper level because we can say we want something. We want that new house. We want that new job. We want to go back to school and completely change our career. But then when you look at the actions that we might not take, we got to look at what's really keeping us stuck on a subconscious level. It's all about familiarity. If you look at your habits on a day-to-day basis, make a journal entry about it. You can see when you get up, what do you tend to do? When you go to get coffee, and while you're waiting there for a barista to make a drink, what do you tend to do? See, in our brains, we have created this program of the tendencies that we have in our life, the day in and day out, same monotonous things we might be doing. And so when it comes to big decision making, if you want to break that program and try something new, you get this internal resistance. See, on the surface, you might say, oh, what if we fail? I want you to picture something. If you have any idea about baseball, you'll notice that the highest paid players who are going up to bat are missing 70, 60% of the time, give or take. That's a strikeout 70% of the time. And it's very easy for someone that is an outsider to point fingers and laugh and say, oh, you struck out. But when you look at who's actually paying them, being Major League Baseball, you are being paid to strike out most of the time, right? And why? Well, because in the grand scheme of things, those best players have a lot to offer when it comes to when they're successful. Look at those times when they do hit a grand slam in a clutch moment. And when you're a baseball player, you are daring to strike out. You are stepping out of your comfort zone into the spotlight, putting it all on the table, knowing that statistically, you are more likely going to strike out than to actually connect with the ball. Now, we're not all necessarily Major League Baseball players, but you get the point. See, the thing is that when it comes to failure, if we look at it from the right perspective, instead of, hey, I messed up, add on a little bit to the end of that sentence. Yeah, I messed up, but what did I learn from it? And so failure is an opportunity to get better in life. And the mindset you go into it completely matters. If you go into it with the fear of failing, you're going to naturally hold yourself back. But consider going into it with the perspective of, I love failing, and I'm okay with however this turns out. Now you're being able to be creative. And I also touched on this in another video. There's this notion of flow state. When we give it our all and we just move in the direction of where we're meant to be, that's when we make our best decisions. So if you go into it with a mindset of, hey, I might fail and that's okay, believe it or not, you are increasing your odds of getting what you want. Because the mindset is everything. If we believe we're going to fail, subconsciously, you might be driven in the direction of making that statement true and getting what it is you think you're already going to get. Versus, you know what, I'm not good at this. I'm okay with that. I know I'm going to become better because of this. Let's give it a try. YOLO. So that's something to consider. Be willing to fail, because guess what? It's always easy for a heckler on the outside who's not even showing up to the game to point fingers than for you to actually go and make something happen. Because when you have criticism, remember, they are telling you their story and making an excuse for why they are stuck. Be different. Try something new. And if you haven't already, click on that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.